I thought moving into a nursing home would be the start of a peaceful, worry-free chapter in my life. But I was wrong. Behind the friendly smiles and cozy rooms, there are realities no one talks about, and they completely changed my perspective. In this video, I'm sharing 6 hard truths about nursing home life that you absolutely need to know before making the same decision. Some of these may surprise you, others may shock you, but all of them could save you from a decision you might regret. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Let's uncover the truth, starting with the one thing I wish I had known on day 1. Lesson 1: the all-inclusive promise isn't always reality. When I first heard the phrase all-inclusive nursing home, it sounded like a dream come true. The brochures showed bright, cheerful rooms, smiling staff, and the promise that everything I could possibly need would be taken care of: meals, laundry, medical care, activities, and even a few luxuries. I imagined I could just relax and enjoy life without worrying about chores, bills, or responsibilities, but after moving in, I quickly learned that all-inclusive can mean something very different in reality. Yes, the basics were covered. I had a bed, meals, and basic medical support. But many of the extras I assumed were part of the package came with unexpected costs. Want to join a special outing? There's a small fee. Need a personal item replaced? You'll pay for it yourself. Even certain activities or therapies had a price tag attached. It's not that the nursing home was trying to trick me, they were simply running a business. The glossy ads had painted a perfect picture, but they didn't explain the fine print. The truth is, what's included can vary greatly from one place to another, and it's important to ask specific questions before making a decision. Still, this experience taught me something valuable. Instead of feeling upset, I realized I needed to take more control of my choices. I learned to carefully review contracts, ask about every service in detail, and compare options. I also discovered that sometimes, the most meaningful parts of daily life, like chatting with friends, enjoying the garden, or joining free group activities, didn't cost a single penny. So, while the all-inclusive promise wasn't quite what I expected, it didn't ruin my experience. It simply opened my eyes to the importance of being informed and realistic. If you or your loved ones are considering a nursing home, take the time to dig deeper, ask for a full list of included services, and don't be afraid to compare multiple places. In the end, you'll feel more confident in your choice, and you'll be able to focus on the things that truly matter: comfort, connection, and peace of mind. Lesson 2: loneliness can be overwhelming. When I first moved into the nursing home, I thought I'd be surrounded by friendly faces all the time. After all, there were so many people living under the same roof, surely I would never feel alone again. I pictured myself joining lively group activities, having long chats over tea, and making new friends in every hallway. At first, it seemed that way. The staff welcomed me warmly, neighbors introduced themselves, and I even joined a few activities. But as days turned into weeks, I realized something unexpected: loneliness can still exist, even in a crowded place. Everyone had their own routines, their own preferences, and sometimes their own struggles. It wasn't always easy to connect deeply with others, especially when our personalities or interests didn't match. There were moments when the hallways felt quiet, when I sat by the window wondering if anyone would drop by for a chat. I missed the comfort of spontaneous visits from friends or family, the laughter of neighbors I'd known for years, and the freedom to invite someone over for coffee anytime. But here's the good news: I didn't let that loneliness win. I realized that connection is something we have to actively create, no matter where we live. So, I started making the first move. I joined craft classes, even though I wasn't great at art. I asked to sit with different people at meal times. I offered to help set up the common room before activities, which gave me a chance to talk to more people. Slowly, familiar faces became friends. I found a small group that enjoyed storytelling, and we began meeting weekly to share funny memories. I also made a habit of calling family regularly, turning our conversations into a joyful part of my routine. The truth is, loneliness can happen anywhere: in a busy city, in a quiet home, or even in a nursing home full of people. But it's also something we can work to overcome. By taking small, consistent steps to connect, you can turn those quiet moments into opportunities for friendship, and when you do, the nursing home starts to feel less like a place you live and more like a community you belong to. Lesson 3: Loss of independence happens faster than you think. Before moving into the nursing home, I imagined I'd still have control over most of my daily life. I thought I could choose when to wake up, what to eat, and how to spend my afternoons. In my mind, the nursing home would simply be a safer, more comfortable version of home, with extra help when I needed it. In the beginning, everything felt fine. My room was cozy, meals were served on time, and the staff were kind. But little by little, I noticed changes. My day started to follow the home's schedule, not my own. Breakfast was served at a set time, activities had fixed hours, and even bedtime seemed influenced by the nightly routines of the caregivers. It wasn't that anyone was being strict or unfriendly, they were simply keeping things organized for so many residents. But I began to realize that the more I adapted to their timetable, the less I was making my own choices. Small freedoms, like deciding to sleep in or have a late snack, became less common. At first, I missed this independence deeply. I had been used to making every little decision for myself. But instead of feeling frustrated, I decided to focus on the choices I still had and to speak up when something mattered to me. If I wanted to skip an activity, I politely said so. If I preferred a different meal option, I asked in advance. Sometimes the answer was yes. Sometimes no, but the important thing was that I didn't let go of my voice. Over time, I found a balance. I followed the home structure when it made sense, but I also kept my personal preferences alive in small ways, decorating my room my way, choosing my own books, and setting aside quiet time for myself. The truth is, some loss of independence is natural when you live in a place designed to care for many people at once. But it doesn't have to mean losing who you are. By communicating clearly, making small choices daily, and staying true to your personality, you can keep your sense of self, even within a shared routine. In the end, independence isn't just about what you can do, it's about keeping your spirit and individuality alive. Lesson 4: Healthcare quality varies drastically. One of the main reasons I moved into a nursing home was for the promise of good, reliable health care. I imagined attentive nurses, quick responses to any medical need, and the comfort of knowing someone was always nearby to help. In many ways, that promise was kept, but I soon learned that not all care is the same every day. Some days, the staff were full of energy and smiles. They checked on me often, made sure my medicine was on time, and even stopped to chat. Those moments made me feel safe and valued. But on other days, things felt a little different. Maybe the staff were busier or short on hands. The care was still there, but it was more rushed, less personal. At first, I worried. I thought, if the care changes from day to day, what happens if I really need help? But then I realized something important. In any nursing home, the quality of care depends on many factors: the staff's workload, their training, and sometimes even the home's policies. Instead of feeling helpless, I decided to be proactive. I learned the names of the caregivers, built friendly relationships, and communicated clearly about my needs. When they knew me better, they seemed to remember my preferences more often. I also paid attention to the best times to ask for help, usually when things were calmer, which made it easier to get more personal attention. Of course, it's also important to speak up if something is not right. A polite but clear conversation with the head nurse or manager can make a big difference. Most staff truly care and want to help. Sometimes they just need a reminder or extra information to do their best. What I discovered is this: while healthcare quality can vary from day to day, your approach can make a huge difference. By being kind, clear, and involved in your own care, you can often improve the service you receive. In the end, I stopped expecting perfection and started focusing on teamwork, me and the staff, working together for my well-being. That mindset made life in the nursing home feel much safer and much more comfortable. Lesson 5: Your privacy may disappear. Before moving into the nursing home, I imagined having my own quiet space where I could relax, read, or enjoy my hobbies without interruptions. I thought my room would be my personal sanctuary, just like my bedroom at home. But once I settled in, I quickly realized that privacy works differently in a nursing home. Many homes have shared rooms, which means you may have a roommate. Even if you're lucky enough to have your own room, staff members often come in for regular check-ins, cleaning, or medical care. Sometimes, this happens at times you're not expecting. At first, it felt a little strange. I wasn't used to people walking in while I was napping or reading. It's not that anyone was being rude, they were simply doing their jobs, making sure I was safe and comfortable. But I realized that living in a nursing home meant giving up a little bit of personal space for the sake of care and security. Instead of feeling frustrated, I decided to make my space feel more personal and comfortable, even if it wasn't fully private. I brought in small decorations from my old home, family photos, a soft blanket, and my favorite books. I also learned to politely set boundaries, like letting staff know when I'd prefer to have quiet time or asking for a quick knock before entering. When it came to shared rooms, I found that communication was the key. Talking openly with a roommate about routines and preferences helped us respect each other's needs. We even learned to enjoy some activities together, like listening to music or sharing snacks, which turned an inconvenience into a friendship. The truth is, privacy in a nursing home will never be the same as in your own home, but that doesn't mean you can't create a comfortable, personal environment. It's about making small adjustments, finding ways to keep your own identity, and remembering that the people who enter your space are there to help you. In the end, I discovered that while my privacy was different, it didn't disappear completely. With kindness, communication, and a few personal touches, my room truly became a place where I felt at home. Lesson 6: Adjusting emotionally is harder than expected. When I first moved into the nursing home, I thought the hardest part would be packing my belongings and saying goodbye to my old house. I was wrong. The real challenge came later, adjusting my heart and mind to a completely new way of living. At home, I had familiar surroundings, my favorite chair by the window, and neighbors I'd known for years. In the nursing home, everything felt different: new faces, new routines, and new rules. At first, I tried to stay busy so I wouldn't think about it too much. But deep down, I missed my old life. It wasn't just the place I missed, it was the feeling of being in control, the comfort of familiarity, and the small daily habits that made me feel at home. Some days, the change felt overwhelming. I wondered if I would ever truly feel settled, but slowly, I learned that emotional adjustment takes time, and that's okay. I began focusing on what I could enjoy in my new environment instead of only thinking about what I'd left behind. I joined activities that interested me, even when I felt shy at first. I decorated my space with personal items that reminded me of happy memories. I also made it a point to share my feelings with trusted people, whether it was a staff member, a friend, or a family member over the phone. Talking about my emotions helped me process them instead of keeping them bottled up. Over time, I started to notice small moments of joy: laughter at the dinner table, a warm conversation with a new friend, or a sunny afternoon in the garden. These moments reminded me that while my old life was precious, my new life could be meaningful too. The truth is, adjusting emotionally to a nursing home isn't easy for anyone. But if you give yourself time, stay open to new experiences, and allow yourself to build new connections, the heaviness starts to lift. In the end, I realized that home is not just a place, it's a feeling you create. And with patience and positivity, you can create that feeling anywhere. Conclusion. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the 6 hard truths about nursing home life. My goal was not to discourage you, but to help you make more informed choices. If even one of these lessons gave you a new perspective or helped you in some way, I'd love to hear from you. Your experiences and thoughts could help someone else who is facing the same decision. So, if you've lived in a nursing home, visited one, or are considering it for yourself or a loved one, share your story in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that matters.